Healing isn't always peaceful. Sometimes it feels like your entire life is falling apart, a personal apocalypse. There's a moment, quiet and unseen, when someone chooses to stop running. They don't numb the pain anymore. They stop burying it under distractions, relationships, or endless work. They choose to feel. That's when everything starts to shift. You begin to wake up. You notice patterns that were once invisible. You see how your nervous system reacts to everyday stress. You realize you haven't been living. You've been surviving, and then something strange happens. Even as you rise emotionally, spiritually, energetically, your finances begin to crumble. Opportunities vanish. Your bank account flatlines. And none of it makes sense. You're doing the work. You're more self-aware. You're healing. Shouldn't life be flowing by now? Instead, it's like abundance disappears. Why? That's what we're going to explore today. Stay with me until the end because we're not just talking about what's happening. We're diving deep into why. And when you truly understand the why, you'll discover a hidden part of you that's been silently blocking abundance all along. This isn't just about mindset. It's not about hustle. It goes deeper. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That quote, that's the root of everything we're about to unpack. Picture this. A child growing up in a home where money equals stress. There are arguments. There's fear, maybe even shame. That child doesn't grow up associating money with freedom or joy. They associate it with instability, pain, and loss. Now fast forward. That child is now an adult. They've started their healing journey. They've gone to therapy. They've embraced spirituality. They're doing the inner work. But deep inside, buried in the subconscious, money is still a threat. It's a source of danger. So what does the nervous system do? It kicks in to protect. It avoids. It sabotages. Even while your conscious mind is busy trying to manifest or budget or build, your body is stuck in survival mode. This is the paradox of healing and money. As you become more conscious, you're forced to confront what's still unconscious. That includes all the old beliefs you silently made during childhood. Like money isn't safe. Or if I have money, I'll become like the people who hurt me. This isn't just psychology. This is soul level. This is spiritual warfare. Between the version of you that survived and the version that's evolving. Jung talked about individuation, the path to becoming whole. But he warned, it's not linear, it's a spiral. And money? Money is one of the most emotionally charged symbols in our culture. It reflects every part of us we haven't yet integrated. So if you're struggling financially while doing your inner work, it's not failure, it's transformation. Your old ego structures are collapsing. The parts of you attached to outdated money beliefs. They can't come with you. And here's the part most people never hear. There's a reason why spiritual awakening and financial security seem like they live in two different worlds. And it's not about the money. Before we go further, if you love deep mind-opening conversations like this, subscribe to Fractal Wisdom so you don't miss the truths that shake your soul gently but deeply. Let's break down something rarely discussed. Your nervous system doesn't care about your goals. It cares about what's familiar. You can hold crystals, chant affirmations, and visualize millions. But if your body associates money with chaos, it will block it. Not because it wants to sabotage, but because it wants to protect. Because in trauma, familiar, safe. Even if familiar is toxic, maybe your childhood home was filled with stress around bills, power shutoffs, fights over spending, shame around asking for what you wanted. That stress? It didn't disappear. It lives in your body. Your nervous system learned. Money, danger. So now, when adult you sets goals around abundance, a deeper part of you whispers, this doesn't feel safe. Retreat. That's the trap. The more you grow, the more your unhealed parts panic. To your survival system, growth ain't threat. Jung said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. So what does this mean for your money journey? It means your discomfort around money might have nothing to do with money itself. It might be about visibility, responsibility, power, freedom, loss. Maybe more money means standing out when you were taught to stay small. Maybe it means becoming what your family judged. Maybe it means breaking unspoken generational rules. That's the shadow. Jung's term for the hidden parts of us. Not just our shame or rage, but our light, our brilliance, and our capacity. And guess what? Your relationship with money lives in that shadow. This is why healing often brings chaos to your finances. because your system would rather choose known pain than unknown peace. You might undercharge, procrastinate, feel constantly drained, not because you're lazy, but because your body thinks it's keeping you safe. You're not broken. You're not bad with money. You're just living from an old blueprint that's finally coming to light. And that is sacred. Here's the turning point. Your healing isn't blocking abundance. It's revealing where abundance was never safe in the first place. That's the real work. The solution isn't to push through. It's to befriend the fear, to gently rewire your body's story about what's possible. Tools like breathwork, somatic therapy, inner child healing, conscious rest. These aren't indulgences. They're financial tools. Because when your body feels safe, money becomes a friend, not a threat. And many of the beliefs you carry about money, they're not even yours. They're inherited, absorbed like secondhand smoke. You didn't choose to feel guilt around receiving. You didn't decide to fear success. That conditioning was passed down. Jung called this the collective unconscious, a vast emotional inheritance of human beliefs. So if money feels like a deep wound, not just a budgeting issue, you're not imagining it. Maybe your ancestors survived poverty, war, displacement. They didn't get to manifest. They had to fight for scraps. That pain, it passed down, in silence, in behavior, in fear. Maybe your parents took that fear and created their own version, one of scarcity, or maybe one of excess. But both were responses to generational wounds. You grew up absorbing phrases like, "We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. Be grateful. Don't ask for more." And now here you are, trying to create a new story, while carrying centuries of pain. Of course, it's heavy, but awareness, that's your liberation. Jung believed integration is power, making the unconscious conscious. That's how cycles break. And when you begin to heal your financial story, you're not just doing it for your future self. You're doing it for your ancestors who couldn't, and the children who won't have to. You're shifting the emotional climate of your lineage. That's not just personal healing. That's soul-level revolution. This is why budgeting apps alone won't save you. You can't spreadsheet your way out of ancestral pain. You have to feel your way through. Grieve it. Question it. And then replace it with beliefs aligned to who you are becoming, not who you were taught to be. Let's land this gently. You've already done the hard work. Surviving, coping, healing. You've held your inner child. You've made peace with your shadow. But now here's the revolution. Receiving is also healing. Letting money in without guilt, shame, or fear, that's radical, especially when your nervous system was trained for the opposite. Jung taught that the self is a totality. Integration is the goal. That means welcoming not just the healing, but the thriving. And here's where people get stuck. They wait for money to fix their wounds, but healing works the other way around. Safety inside creates flow outside, and that safety is built slowly, moment by moment. Things like checking your balance without shame, asking for your worth, resting without guilt, saying thank you when gifted, letting in ease without struggle. These aren't just habits, they're soul practices, because real abundance comes from alignment, not from proving, not from hustle, but from embodying your healed self. Here's a final image. Picture your inner world as a house. You've renovated it, torn down the walls of scarcity, repainted it in truth, lit candles, opened windows. Now, money knocks at the door. Do you let it in, or do you hear an old whisper? "We don't deserve this. It won't last. Be careful." That's the final threshold. Healing means you've built the house. Now you must believe you're safe enough to let the good things in. Receiving without guilt, earning without overextending, thriving without betrayal. This is the next layer of the spiral. You're not here to hustle forever. You don't have to prove your worth by burning out. That story is over. We're writing a new one now, where empaths thrive, where healers are paid, where artists flourish, where money becomes a spiritual ally. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And who you truly are was never meant to repeat pain. You're here to transform it. That includes your money story. You don't need to chase abundance. Just stop blocking it. Because you don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you're safe to receive. And your healing? It's the foundation, the soil, the sacred frequency. If this spoke to you, leave a comment below. I am safe to receive. I'll be reading every single one. And share this with someone who's walking the same path. Let's normalize these deep healing conversations. If you're still here, thank you. You're not just scrolling. You're remembering. You're becoming. Subscribe to Fractal Wisdom. More soul-shifting truths are coming. Until next time, keep healing. Keep receiving. You're already worthy. You always were.